What's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time, and if this is not your first time, welcome back to the channel, y'all. Today, we are going to answer the question that has been buzzing around the internet for days now, maybe even weeks, maybe even months. And that question is, are leak code questions dead in the age of AI? And the answer to that, y'all, is absolutely not, y'all. LeetCode questions are not dead. They're not dying. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. Is AI taking over and doing this thing out here? Yes, it is. Does that mean it's going to replace all of the programmers in the world? No, it does not. And it definitely does not mean it's going to replace the programmers that know how to do LeetCode. You have to understand, every programmer that knows how to do LeetCode, or let me put it like this: every programmer that is good at LeetCode is also good at using AI and vibe coding. However, every programmer who is good at vibe coding, that does not mean that they're good at LeetCode. Therefore, it makes zero sense as to why a company would get rid of LeetCode problems just to hire somebody who is good at AI. Just because you're good at AI does not mean anything. Everybody has the mental capacity to be good at AI, all of the programmers. And you have to remember that there is levels to this stuff, guys. If you want to be the best top programmer that you can be, you're going to have to know how to do a few leak code problems. You don't have to be the best at leak code. You don't have to be able to do any leak code hard that they throw your way, but you better be able to do a leak code easy. And if you want to really take it up a notch, you better be able to do a leak code medium. Now, I get it. LeetCode is tough. Everybody is not good at LeetCode. Everybody's brain does not work like that. But that does not mean you cannot train yourself or work your brain and strengthen your mental in order to learn LeetCode. As you see from my channel, we're doing LeetCode every day. It takes a lot of discipline and dedication to get to be at a peak level of LeetCode. That is why these top companies, these FANG companies, want to phase out all of the people who are not even at a certain level. And right now, LeetCode is that bar. Now, will programming become easier with AI? Of course it will. But it's going to be better for people who already know what they're doing. If you don't know how to read or look over the AI's code at this point in time, then the chances are that you are not going to be, or you're not going to be able to produce the best product or the best code. You, at this time in the AI journey, you need to be able to look over the AI's code and understand what it's doing so that you can fix things that it may have gotten wrong. Now, as time goes on, yes, AI will get better, but that does not take away from the need to have programmers that have certain skills. Just because AI is coming out, that does not mean you want to get rid of all of your programming staff that are good and replace them with people that know how to use AI. Your existing programming staff will know how, or will be able to learn how to use AI. And the people who know how to do LeetCode will be able to know how to do AI, which will make them even better, as opposed to somebody who does not know how to do LeetCode. Their AI, their use of AI might make them good. They might be able to figure out a LeetCode problem with AI, but their prompts are not going to be as good as the prompts of somebody who's already good at LeetCode. I'll give you an example. When I first started coding, I didn't really know what prompts to ask. I didn't know where to start. And as I got further and further on my programming journey and I started learning the jargon and the different buzzwords, you could say, or not even buzzwords, just words that are relevant to programming, I was able to use that in my prompt. So, for example, a navigation link. When I first started programming, I didn't know what a navigation link was. So I would just type in the AI, how do I go from this page to this page? Or how would I go from this view to this view? And that's would be my prompt. And sometimes the AI will give me different answers every time because I wasn't using a keyword, which is navigation link or navigation destination when we're talking about Swift. Yeah, when I changed up my prompts and now I know what a navigation link is and I know what a navigation destination is, now I can ask the AI, oh, how do I incorporate a navigation link in this view so that it leads to this view? Or how do I use or incorporate a navigation destination in this view so it leads to this view, which it increased my productivity tenfold just by adding those adding those keywords into the prompt. So where I'm going at is this with this is if you don't even know what questions to ask, you're not going to be on the same level as programmers who know what they're doing, even if you do have AI, because the programmers who know what they're doing are going to ask better prompts. They're going to be able to put better prompts in the AI for you. And the only way right now, or not the only way, but one of the major ways that companies right now are determining your skill set when it comes to programming is LeetCode. That's why if you want to be the best programmer that you can be, you want to be the best programmer in the world, which should always be your goal, to be the best, to always try harder and compete, or you don't have to compete in a negative way, but compete with each other to help put pressure on each other to build each other up. Because if you see one person get good at LeetCode, if your friend is good at LeetCode, that might put pressure on you to get good at LeetCode. If you if you keep doing that and you go into a job interview, you're going to have no problems. However, if somebody who doesn't know LeetCode, they don't want to know LeetCode, yeah, you might get an interview without any LeetCode problems and they let you use AI. However, you have to remember there's levels to this stuff. So you might get an internship without knowing how to do LeetCode, but somebody who knows how to do LeetCode might get an entry level staff engineering job. There's levels to this stuff. So you always want to be good at LeetCode, and you always want to be the best programmer that you can be. Now, granted, AI helps. AI does help, and it will always help, and it's going to get better. But the better AI gets, the better programmers are going to know what prompts to ask, which is going to take them to another level. So now you might have a group of programmers without AI, but they're good programmers. They're top level programmers. They never were able to use AI before. So they might get stuck on a top level problem. Now they have AI to help them with their top level problems. But people who are not top level programmers, they don't even know what those top level problems are to attack. And that will be a main issue when it comes to people not knowing how to LeetCode or not knowing how to program in general. It's not about not knowing how to LeetCode. If that's the case, then you could just hire anybody off the street and tell them, yeah, write this write this view model, and you can use AI. They'll be able to figure it out. Most people will be able to figure out how to do something if they sit at the computer long enough with AI. They'll figure out how to build an app or build a feature that they're looking for. No problem. But will they know how to optimize those features? Will they know that a binary search is faster than other searches, or just a big O of N? Do they know log in is faster than big O of N? You know what I'm saying? These are things that the programmers know, or certain programmers know, that LeetCode teaches you that other programmers may not know. And that's going to be the difference when it comes to your interview and getting a job. So once again, it would make no sense for a top level FANG company who wants the best programmers in the world to hire people who don't know how to do LeetCode. What sense does that make to them when there are people who do know how to do LeetCode, and there are people who are trained or have trained their brain to think a certain way to solve certain problems? Why would they hire somebody who has not learned how to, or not trained their brain to do certain things, over the person who has trained their brain to do certain things? So just keep that in mind. Will you be able to survive without knowing how to do LeetCode? Yes, of course you will, especially in the day of AI. It's going to only get easier. However, you have to remember the job market is getting tighter and tighter. It's getting harder and harder to get a job. So if you want to set yourself apart from people, you need to know how to program without using an AI. That's what a programmer is. A programmer needs to program an AI. The AI will get smart. Yes, of course, it'll get smarter than the programmers, but you're still going to need a programmer to make the AI. And at this level right now, you're going to need a trained programmer to read over the code that the AI wrote to make sure that it's written correctly, y'all. A lot of people right now who are saying LeetCode is dead, LeetCode is getting phased out of interviews. Those are just the people who do not know how to do LeetCode. Those are the people who don't have the discipline to learn how to do LeetCode. They don't even want to learn how to do LeetCode. They're just looking for an easy way out, and they're hoping, praying, and wishing that LeetCode will disappear so that they can get the easy track in and get a job. But the truth is, it will never be easy. There will always be somebody out there in the world who is trying to outwork you, who is trying to be better than you, who is trying to learn LeetCode. So unless you want them, you're all right with them getting the job before you, then you're going to have to know how to do LeetCode. And it's enough people out there that are learning and studying LeetCode that if you don't know how to do LeetCode, you're just going to fall behind. So I would never think that AI is coming out, it's going to do all the hard stuff for me. No, that's not how life works. You're still going to have to do the hard stuff. You're still going to have to buckle down, put your head down, get into work, learn some things, learn how data structures work, learn how algorithms work. Do you really think a company is going to hire you? Not just any company, not just some small startup. I'm talking about a top level FANG company. Do you think they will hire you if you don't know how a binary search works? Do you think they'll hire you if you don't know how a merge sort works, or a bubble sort works, or what a sliding window is and how to use one in practice, or dynamic programming? Do you think they're going to hire you? You might get lucky. You might know somebody who could get you in the door. But if you're somebody like me who's just trying to kick in the door and make a way for themselves, you need to learn these things, because there's people out here who know these things, and there's going to be somebody else. There's going to be a new person who learns this thing every day. So if you really want to compete in the job market and in the workforce, you should learn LeetCode, not because you have to, because you want to be the better programmer. You want to be the best that you can be. You don't want to limit yourself. You don't want to hold yourself back, and you want to keep up with the times. Now, AI is fun. Don't get me wrong. I love AI. I use AI. I like vibe coding. I could do a little. I can enjoy a little vibe coding every now and then, but that does not stop me from learning what's actually going on and learning how to write this myself. Even when I'm vibe coding, I'm reading to see what the AI says. How do you do this? How do you do that? Why do you use this function, or why do you use this algorithm instead of this algorithm? So I can still learn. Even though the AI will be there when I'm on the job and I can just ask it, it's still better for my knowledge, because that, once again, that'll make my prompts better. If I know what a binary search is, I can ask the AI, how do I write this binary search function? Instead of me asking the AI, how do I write a faster function than big O of n? You know what I'm saying? That might work, but it might take 2, 3, or more prompts after that to really get the output that you're looking for from the AI, when you could just say, how do I write this function, and how do I incorporate a binary search into this function? You have to know the term what a binary search is. You have to know what a binary search does. Yes, you might ask the AI, how do I use a bitwise OR operator or a bitwise XOR operator? That's great to do. That's what the AI is for. But you still should know how to do it yourself as well. You should know how to write it on a piece of paper and figure it out. It's not that hard. It's like math. That's like a mathematician saying, oh, they have calculators now. We don't need to learn algebra. That would make no sense. And NASA said, you don't need to know calculus anymore to work for us and build our rockets. You just need to know how to use the AI. That would make no sense. Rockets would be blowing up left and right. It doesn't work like that. They need people who know what they're doing, where the AI can increase their knowledge of what they already know. So as a think of it like this. There's a person who knows this much about programming, and there's a person who knows this much about programming. This person knows how to LeetCode. This person doesn't know how to LeetCode. This person uses AI, takes the skills all the way up here. This person learns how to use AI, takes their skills right here. Either way, the person that knows how to do LeetCode skills are way more advanced than the person that does not know how to do LeetCode. And these top level FANG companies want people They want top level talent. They want advanced talent. They don't want people who are just don't know what they're doing. So that's why it's important to still learn LeetCode. And that's why I think LeetCode is not going anywhere. And you should not believe the hype. Don't believe the fear mongering. Buckle down and do the work. It's that easy. That's all you have to do is do the work. Everything else will come. Don't let these people trick you out your spot, trick you out and not doing the work that you were going to do. If you were going to do a LeetCode problem and you were going to start studying data structures and algorithms, don't let people who have trouble learning data structures and algorithms tell you that you don't need to know that. Of course you need to know that, or you might can survive without it, but you want to be the best that you can be. And to be the best that you can be, you're going to need to know that, in my opinion, y'all. So I hope that makes sense to y'all. I hope y'all really think about how you guys are going to advance your programming journey and become better programmers as a whole, and don't just think everything's going to be given to you just because AI is out. Did mathematicians lose their job when a calculator came out? No, they didn't. They've been doing math since they had those marbles on a string. Did did math stop when they made those marbles on a string? No, they didn't. People have been doing math forever, even though they've had tools to help them. That's how programming is going to be. We just have a new tool that's going to help us, y'all. So don't get lazy out there. Keep working hard and keep striving to meet your goals. And with that being said, y'all, make sure you hit that subscribe button and come tune back in with us so we can do a LeetCode problem every day and get better at our data structures and algorithms.